Good evening. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. The Ministry of Health says women need prescriptions for contraceptives, and a rage for reproductive health rights is unleashed. We'll tell you all about it. And a 19-year-old city teenager was found murdered at his favorite fishing spot. But why was Jahil Westby killed? Also, the Caye Caulker Village Council sounds a strong alarm. It warns central government not to sell the beachfront land where the community police station sits. Plus, the Prime Minister discusses the plan for the port of Belize. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News tonight, so please stay tuned.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
"2026 marks a major milestone in the history of Belize's healthcare sector. The 25th anniversary of the National Health Insurance (NHI) program and the long-awaited national rollout of NHI services to the Cayo district, finally fulfilling a dream of primary healthcare coverage for all Belizeans. What started as an idea in 1998 became a reality in 2001 and has served thousands of Belizeans over the last 2.5 decades by providing access to quality healthcare, now in every corner of Belize.
One of the central pillars of NHI is access to quality healthcare.
All Belizeans will have access to quality hospital services through a national health insurance system.
It's a milestone that the whole country and all of the people of Belize, anyone who has a social security card, it's minimal out-of-pocket expenses, it's high-quality primary care. It allows almost all the population then to have the same level of health care wherever you are.
In 1998, the then Honorable Said Musa convened a group of us to work on the manifesto, and then a group of people in the medical field, and started brainstorming of how we could better healthcare for Belizeans.
The beginning can be traced to a study done by Cambridge Consultancy, where they produced a document on how to improve healthcare in Belize. One of the features of that study was the proposal that we have national health insurance.
As a matter of urgency, we will radically transform Belize's health system to ensure equitable access to quality health services.
It took a lot of courage to implement and begin the NHI. Prime Minister Musa made the bold decision to implement it.
So with a clear plan and vision for the future of Belize's healthcare sector, the NHI program was launched in Belize City's south side as a pilot project on August 9, 2001.
For the next 6 months, the 37,000 residents living on the south side of the Belize district will be able to receive free health care.
Prime Minister Said Musa, who cut the ribbon at today's opening, remains firmly committed to NHI.
But it will involve, as you no doubt have heard, the participation of 4 primary care facilities, 3 eye care centers, 5 pharmacies, laboratories, and 3 imaging centers in a new partnership between the public and private sector health providers.
You can walk into a primary care provider clinic. You can seek a consultation with a general practitioner. If in the event that you need a prescription, they will give you a prescription, and then you have a choice of 5 pharmacies where you can get that medication prescribed free of charge.
And though the NHI embarked on a journey to transform the country's health sector, it was met with its fair share of challenges.
It was a new concept.
It was a new idea, a very, very new concept. It was difficult. We met resistance from everybody. It was a up and down situation for many years. until we finally convinced the Prime Minister at the time we needed to do a pilot project to see how it would function. We got consultants and we started the pilot project in the south side of Belize City.
Despite any prior reservations, in the 25 years that have followed, NHI has grown from a pilot project focusing on the south side of Belize City to a national health plan felt as far and wide as Pachacan in the north and as deep south as Dolores in the Toledo district. Today, NHI provides invaluable primary health care to some of Belize's most vulnerable members of society. And as it commemorates 25 years of service and a full national expansion, NHI is ready to move into the next phase of service to the Belizean people, with over 225,000 residents currently registered to the program and expectations for that number to reach over 300,000 after full national coverage.
We have 80,000 people with valid Social Security cards in the Caye district. So we expect them to be the ones that will come to register for NHI.
Under this current administration, the NHI program has reached new heights, especially with financing from the proceeds of the sale of Toledo to the Belize Government Lotteries Limited. And with no plans to slow down anytime soon, the sky is the limit for NHI as it endeavors to serve Belize for another 25 years and beyond.
The expansion at 25 years is awesome. It marks a milestone. I believe it's going to be a legacy of the PEP government in their effort and their endeavor to give quality care, access to care, and ensure that the people of Belize have what they deserve in terms of medical care.
Well, it's a milestone that the NHI is celebrating 25 years this year, 2026. Now that we have achieved this so far, I would want, or my vision would be that the same applies to secondary health care, that it be extended into the hospital services countrywide. And I hope it doesn't take another 25 years for that to happen.
The role of the social security system will be expanded to increase its contributions with the establishment of a national health insurance program.
I think NHI is forever. It's not gonna go. It might change. It should change. Our communities change, so the way we serve them has to change. But the concept of NHI, the concept of having universal coverage of primary health care for our Belizean people is here to stay.
NHI, an enabler of quality health and wellness for all.
Cada conexión es más que solo una señal, es un estudiante abriendo las puertas a su futuro a través de la educación digital. Una mente joven atreviéndose a soñar en grande. Nuestra cultura compartida con el mundo en tiempo real. Y héroes cotidianos respondiendo al llamado del deber cívico. Cuando nos conectamos con Digi, empoderamos a Belice.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We begin our newscast with one of our top stories this evening, where social media rage spread like a wildfire after the Ministry of Health and Wellness issued a statement explaining that what were once over-the-counter contraceptives will now require a prescription. The post led to complaints and criticisms of creating a barrier to access, which will, in turn, detrimentally affect the most vulnerable population. According to the ministry's press release, before prescribing a contraceptive, the healthcare provider will assess risk factors such as a history of blood clots or stroke, high blood pressure, smoking habits, and other underlying conditions. They added that doctors can provide contraceptives for extended periods with refills available for up to 12 months. They also noted that visits for contraceptive services create opportunities for broader health support, such as STD screenings. But while this sounds good on paper, how will it affect women on the ground? Well, the Belize Family Life Association, BFLA's executive director, says it's a harmful move against women on the part of the government. And our very own Courtney Menzies spoke with her today and has this story.
This Facebook post from Dr. Shana Pot is what started the social media reproductive rage. That's when it became apparent to the public that the Ministry of Health and Wellness had started enforcing a prescription requirement for what was once over-the-counter contraceptives. The backlash since yesterday has been heated, with many arguing that this move, which is said to be done for women's safety, is harming them rather than helping them. Which begs the question, who was consulted before this decision was made? According to BFLA's executive director, they were not involved in the process and were as shocked as the rest of the public. Joan Burke explained that this move sets women's reproductive health back 50 years.
When I got it, I was in total awe because I looked at it that, we are losing almost 50 years of accomplishment in terms of looking at the access to contraceptive as part of women's empowerment and the whole issue of women's reproductive rights. We talk about bodily autonomy, and the woman has the right to choose if and when she wants to have a child, and we have a duty and responsibility to make sure that the environment is being created to enable that decision making. We endorse the WHO policies and everything that has to do with rights, and so I just feel like this, if we go through with this is a big loss to women and young girls.
Burke further explained that contraceptives don't simply prevent pregnancies, but they also save lives.
We can definitely prepare ourselves for an increase in unwanted pregnancies, and I hate to use that term, but it's a term, unwanted or unplanned pregnancies. We can definitely see an increase in unsafe and clandestine abortion, because when a woman finds herself in a situation with a pregnancy that she doesn't want, she will definitely seek any opportunity for termination. And also we can prepare ourselves for increase in maternal deaths, because when a woman can plan her pregnancy, because contraceptives is not only to say, oh, you'll never have children, it empowers a family to plan their pregnancies, right? And so I am seeing an increase in maternal deaths and an increase maybe in infant mortality.
According to the MOHW's press release, the reason for just now beginning to enforce this law is that, quote, contraceptive methods, particularly hormonal options such as birth control pills, patches, and injections, can have significant effects on the body. These methods are not one size fits all, and their safe use depends on an individual's medical history and current health status, end quote. But Burke says that explanation doesn't cut it. What would you say to this reasoning that they gave, that it's for women's health and safety?
That is weak. It's a very weak explanation. For years, women have been accessing contraceptives over the counter for years. And so what's the evidence? One of the things that we encourage, though, that once a woman or a young girl decides to go on a method, that she does consultation. Because what might work for me might not work for you. And so we encourage every woman or young girl to do a consultation first, because there are certain assessment that must be done. Yes, it's hormonal, but it must be done, and the professional is equipped to make the decision as to what is the best method for this individual based on family history, based on their medical condition. But to say that, yes, it was there and globally, no, that's weak. It's very weak, I'm sorry.
And while women across the country will be affected, Burke explained that it's the poorer, more vulnerable women that will be most at risk.
I think about the poor woman in one of these hard-to-reach communities with children, when you have to get on a bus to go to, because we don't have a doctor in every community. So when that woman has to go and find a doctor and take her children with her, we can very well see one pocket of pill that probably will cost, the price of it is $10 or even less. But the cost to that woman could be almost $200, depending on where she's coming from. And then also, what about the working class woman who can't get time off to go to a doctor's consultation every month she needs her contraceptive? No. So there are many factors that we have to take into consideration. The age to consent in this country is 16, right? And a doctor may not do a consultation with a 16-year-old because she's not an adult, but yet she can consent to sex. So even that in itself leads to question.
Do you consider this move sort of maybe reproductive discrimination or even systemic reproductive violence?
Of course. And it would be interesting to see who were at the table. Is it once again us as women being victims of patriarchal systems, right? Where men believe that they can make the decisions for us and make decisions on matters that affect us directly.
Burke is now hoping that the government will hear them out.
I would hope that we will be given the space to have a sit down with the minister and the powers, as well as, if needs be, a hearing with the AG or somebody from the AG's office, because this has serious implication for the health of our women and young girls.
Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
When asked for an interview, the Director of Health Services, Dr. Melissa Diaz, explained that she would be unavailable until next Monday. And when the issue was raised with the Prime Minister this morning, he said his wife, the Special Envoy for Women and Children, had already beaten the media to the punch. Briceño explained today that while the MOHW technicians had good intentions, they should sit down and discuss how these services could better benefit the public. Here's more.
From what we have been told in cabinet, well, before this thing happened, that these things were already the law, but it was not being implemented. And so they believe that it is time to be able to implement some of these laws that have been in place. It's not a law that we're changing. It's been there. It's been in the books. There have been a lot of abuse when it comes to some of these medicines that should be given by prescription. On the issue of birth control, of course, I get it last night when Rosanna saw it and she was like, what's wrong with you when it comes to contraceptives, because it's important to make this easy for women to avoid unwanted pregnancies. And I agree with her. And then I know that the technicians at the Ministry of Health will say, well, it is known that some of these birth control pills can cause what? I know they said cancer or blood clots or whatever he said. And she was saying, okay, what data do you have to support that in Belize? So I agreed. And sometimes, for want of the perfect we mess up with the greater good for people, and this is just such a case. So we need to sit down with the Ministry of Health to talk about it and see how best we could navigate around.
Another 600-word press release from the ministry this afternoon didn't help matters much either. It says, quote, contraceptives are also prescription medicines due to the need to assess the risks and benefits and utilize the consultation for opportunistic screening prior to initiation of one of the various forms of contraceptives available, end quote. And continuing with our top stories tonight, the Caye Caulker Village Council is fighting to preserve the property upon which its police station sits. That's after credible reports emerged that government wants to sell the prime property and use the funds for other security projects on the mainland. Presently, the station was under construction as part of the Caye security project, but that work has stopped. The council, which is PUP, put on an extraordinary release today sounding the alarm. It says the council, on behalf of the residents of Caye Caulker, formally and unequivocally rejects any proposal to sell, lease, or transfer the police property located at parcel 815. Parcel 815 is critical communal land and a public asset designated for the safety and security of the island. Any attempt to divest it, particularly to fund projects outside of Caye Caulker, disregards the need of the community and undermines its intended public purpose. Well, later in the release, it says parcel 815 is not surplus land nor land for the real estate enhancement of anyone or a few individuals. It is critical communal land only. It is protection, and its protection is non-negotiable. Those are strong words, and we spoke to the chairlady about it an hour ago after what had been a busy day for her, scrambling to try and get verified information on what the plan for the land is. Here's more.
Everyone seemed to be a little tight-lipped about what they want to do. Rumors are, however, that the property has been sold. We can't go by rumors, and we would really appreciate some clarification. At no point were we engaged in any conversation. Of course, we reached out to the minister, to our area rep this morning, and he said to reach out to Minister Mira. We did, but he's on a tour and he's scheduled to go to San Pedro over the weekend, and he wants to meet in San Pedro. However, I don't think it's fitting for us to have a meeting about Caye Caulker in San Pedro.
Construction work is on the way, or was on the way by Coleman Construction. Yes. I saw the signs. Yeah. Has that work stopped? Has the project that the community was told would be delivered for the community, has that project been put on pause to serve bigger interests and the community not been told anything?
There's no work being conducted at the site, and that I can confirm. So that is really alarming to the entire community. Do we know that there was supposed to be a groundbreaking ceremony? We know that was postponed. We don't know the details of any of it. I've tried my best to reach out to different sources from Caye, from my area rep, and I haven't gotten any response, but we can only go by what we know, and that's construction has been halted.
Title has not been transferred. So no sale has been made, but you and I have also learned through our own sources that there are talks.
Yes.
This is one of the most prime pieces of real estate on your island.
Caye Caulker is primarily for Caye Caulker, Mr. Jules. That's how we feel. Most days we've been left behind. Most days we've been overlooked. And it's rather disheartening to know that they will use up to, in lack of a better term, come up in other ways. That's the talks, you and I have heard the same thing, but we have not been privy to any discussions. but it's something I know that my community will not take well. Every inch of Caye Caulker is of value.
Is it a sense that you all have to stand up now before this land, this precious land, is transferred?
It's of a pivotal time. We don't know if the deal has been completed or not. We know that it hasn't been transferred. It's something that we've been monitoring from before the Easter holidays. We're still monitoring it. And we are hoping that, whatever say we have, that it would be taken into consideration. That is really all we want, to have some sort of say.
Is it cynical, as you see it, for the government to say, hey, Caye Caulker have a gold mine there, make we flip that. And then when we flip that, we get XY money for the XY project. And who cares what Caye Caulker thinks? That's for the state. That's Crown land. Uno not got no say in that.
But that is the misconception. It's not Crown land. It was land that a family gave. So that's the misconception. It's never been Crown land. And these are some of the things where history have been lost. Maybe there's no proper documentation from, like, written documentation, but there are past chairmen that know the history of these properties. And that is why it's important that we engage these people. That's simply all we're asking for. We will have the law take its course. If we have to take a judicial review on it, we probably will. But we will do what is necessary to protect that piece of property. I'm hoping it doesn't have to be tedious, but we'll see what transpires.
Will you and your council allow that land? If the government insists, will you all allow that land to be converted to private property?
We can't. There's no way we can. There's no way we can, sir.
The Village Council tried to get a permit to demonstrate in front of the station tomorrow, but the request was denied. Instead, they will have a community meeting tomorrow night. And we also tried to reach the contractor to find out why work stopped, but he did not respond. The area rep told us he is out of the country on duty leave. And one senior public official who's definitely leaving is Amalia Mai. The Foreign Affairs CEO is headed for the exit, and the Prime Minister confirmed it today. But he was kind to his old loyalists, saying it was Mai's choice to leave, while sources tell us she was not well liked within the ministry. The Prime Minister says she will still be of use to his government.
The Amalia Mai as CEO. Amalia Mai asked for a one-year contract. She had a one-year contract. In February, she gave me a letter saying that she would not renew her contract. The Prime Minister, CEOs are named by the Prime Minister, but obviously has to be in consultations with their respective ministers. And in this instance, I think there's a mutual understanding between the CEO and the minister that probably CEO Mai wanting another challenge, something else different. She's been doing this for the past 5 years. And the minister's feeling that, okay, this is an ample opportunity to be able to bring in a new CEO and to either continue with what's going well, because there's a lot of good work we've been doing in the ministry. And if there's any adjustments that we can do, this is a perfect opportunity to do. And we're working on how we're going to use her. We want to use Amalia, but also I'm talking with Minister Fonseca for us to be able to sit down to decide on who he believes to be the best person to take over from Amalia.
And reports suggest that Belize's ambassador to Mexico, Oscar Arnold, could be tapped to take up the top post at Foreign Affairs, and he might even swap posts with Mai. We'll wait and see how it plays out. And now switching to a story about fuel prices. The Prime Minister also offered his take on the crushing fuel prices, which are hovering close to $15 a gallon at the pump, likely the highest in this region. Without disclosing the percentage of the tax take, the Prime Minister claimed that government is losing tens of millions of dollars in revenue. Here's more.
As to fuel, we have been cutting the taxes already. We are giving up about $60 million already. 60, that's what I said, 60 million in a house. I think now what happened, because now we just gave up now on gasoline, on premium. Yeah, we just give up some taxes on the premium. We're not giving the entire increases to the public. We're being cut inside. I believe that now that just happened, was it this week? Sunday. So I think that when you include that, probably it'll be close to $80 million. Remember, $200 million, we are getting $200 million of excise taxes on fuel. And so it is a big lick. It's hurting us. I had a Ministry of Finance prepare a cabinet paper to our colleagues, so our colleagues could also, they know, but I want to make sure that they understand, guys, we will need to look how we're going to spend. We need to see where we can curtail spending. We need to be able to, especially do the carpooling with government employees, whereby, instead of then they're up and down, if they could carpool to be able to reduce the fuel.
The world oil prices have dropped since the ceasefire was declared in Iran, but they still remain 50% higher than they were in December here. And coming up, the plane didn't land, but it looked like it was about to. We'll show you how Customs and Police made a major bust of aviation fuel. And State Bank, move over. We'll tell you about the plan for Olo Key. Also, we'll tell you about the murder of a 19-year-old in the city. Stay tuned for more news.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
This is a Jack X200. This is a very recommendable vehicle. Storage capacity to the max, right? Fuel efficient, easy rider, AC not a play, the pump, comfortable, and it carry me to all my destination. I can count on Jack to take me and my packages where I need to go. I recommend it anytime. We're the best from the West.
Welcome to Bird's Eye with the Bird's Eye Restaurant, your ultimate dining destination in the heart of the city. Come enjoy the variety of our regular menu items and our day specials, providing you the best in Belizean cuisine from Monday to Saturday. At our Thursday night karaoke, come dine and unwind with the best in cocktails and local drinks. Have an event coming up? Bird's Eye Court is perfect for hosting sporting events as well as social events like weddings, dances, concerts, pageants, conventions, and more. We've got you covered.
Join us on Saturdays for family time with exciting kids activities including bouncy house and trampolines. Fun for the whole family. Then Saturday night, enjoy our 80s and 90s Saturday night experience, bringing you the best hits from 2 unforgettable decades. Come walk our memory lane as we showcase historical events at Bird's Eye over the years, celebrating the memories that have made us special.
For a cozy, unique getaway and Belizean stay, come experience the plush accommodations of Bird's Eye Cabanas, offering a stunning view of the Caribbean Sea with all the amenities you need. Strengthen your immune system and improve your overall health with our trusted herbal remedies. And treat yourself to relaxation and rejuvenation as your stress melts away with a soothing massage at Infinite Herbal Health and Spa, located right here at Bird's Isle. Bird's Isle, where amazing food, great events, and unforgettable memories come together. Visit us today or call 207-6500 or 610-9289.
Look here, your kitchen light there and you been in the kitchen.
But I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep my coffee warm for later.
Where did you know?
I'll try to think about what to eat.
You know the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool.
Uh-huh.
For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You to charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, they blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria, con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente. Ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with one of our top stories where numerous reports of missing persons have surfaced in the past few days. But today, one family came face to face with the heartbreaking reality of what happened to their loved one after he failed to return home from fishing. 19-year-old Jahil Westby rode his horse out to the dike sewage ponds yesterday, and his body was found this morning with gunshot injuries. We met with the family today, and his aunt spoke on behalf of his mother. She explained what they believed led to her nephew's demise. Our very own Jo Marie Lanza reports.
He went out to fish on Thursday morning and never returned home. And as night started to set in, the family of 19-year-old Jahil Westby became concerned, with no sign of him or his horse.
He went in the morning for fishing, but when my sister came from work, then she asked his girlfriend, and then the girlfriend said Jahil doesn't come home, and then that is not him. Every day he come home. As he go fishing, he come home. So that raised an alarm for my sister, and so she tried to call everybody, and so she called me. And last night, like 11 o'clock to be exact, my sister called me, and she said that they have a bad feeling about it. Jahil still not come home as well, and then he got missing from 11 in the morning yesterday, and then 11 for the next. I told she that 12 hours. So then this morning she called me, and then she said that they discovered his body by dikes, and they also discovered his horse back there as well with him.
The police investigation so far said he went fishing with a 16-year-old friend. This morning, a swarm of police fanned out across that area of Port Loyola, adjacent to Jane Usher Boulevard, picking in suspects. They detained male suspects on streets adjacent to the dike sewage ponds, where a body had been found. Elijo says that her nephew frequented the area often to fish and loved to be out in nature. She says he was a calm person, which is why they find it hard to believe that anyone would want to harm him.
We puzzle as well because he never have no criminal record, never ever. He love animal, as you guys can see. He have a horse there, and adventure. He does fishing. He never have no criminal record. He's just only 19 years old. He's my sister, baby in the boy, yes, because she have 3 kids.
He used to go back there go fishing a lot?
From he was a child. That's why it's just like shocking to us because from Jahil was a baby. Like from 7 years old, he go to back at dikes nearly every weekend. He go back there. He fishing. That is what he love, like adventurous. They really take away everything from us. They doesn't know the pain that when my sister is going through, all of us, because it's not that he has somebody where, would I say, hurt anybody out there. So you would say, oh yes, he would have deserved a get. But no, there's not because I'm the aunt. I probably grow him as well.
The only conclusion they can draw is that he was attacked for his horse and left there to die.
Well, to be honest, you got rumors around, but we can't pinpoint nothing. They said that it was about the horse, yes, ma'am. So we feel it that they really, really chance my nephew out of his life because that is his animal. My sister, we try coping with her right now, miss. It's really hard for her, very, very, very hard. That is her baby boy, ma'am. Innocently, just 19 years old. He not live a life. Not even start live his life. He always want for own a farm, miss. Because the way how he is very adventurous, He always want to learn new things about the adventure, about, wildlife and animals. That's all my nephew is. And everybody who know him as a humble person, nice, mannerly.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And according to Facebook posts, the friend who went fishing with Jahil is still missing also. And there are grave concerns for his well-being too. Meanwhile, an hour ago, the commissioner of police told us that they were monitoring a suspected drug plane near the Belize and Guatemala border tonight. And latest reports this evening say that a drug plane with suspected cocaine has landed in northern Belize in the area of Newland Orange Walk. We are awaiting confirmation, but initial reports say a joint operation was conducted by security forces, including the Coast Guard, BDF, and the police. We are awaiting confirmation on whether any drug cargo was intercepted, and what we know is that the area is active because of what happened earlier today. 7 News received information that Customs Enforcement was on patrol in the area of Bamba this morning, where contraband is known to move. That's when they came upon a suspicious person who started to run. The police pursued, leading them to a seafront landing area where a Chevy Tahoe SUV was found loaded up with 9 canisters of aviation fuel. The police were called in and they detained the men and set the vehicle on fire to destroy the fuel. Police believe that the fuel was there to possibly service a drug plane set to land. A 9mm pistol was also found in the area as well. And in other narco news, you saw the $1 million marijuana bust that the police department made on Wednesday. But over the Easter weekend, the Coast Guard found more drugs out at sea. The patrol team found 75 pounds of marijuana worth $200,000 in the Turniff area. Chief of Staff Lieutenant Freddie Caye gave us more details via Zoom.
This bust was done by one of our patrols out at Calabash Key. And this is the Sector Central area, which is located within the Turniff Atoll. So that patrol is located within the Turniff Atoll at Calabash Key. So on April 6th, at around 7:20 a.m., the patrol was operating out of the forward operating base at Calabash Key. And while on operation, they discovered a package, a black checkered package, is similar to a sack. And it contained about 50 parcels of suspected cannabis. The parcel was partly submerged and covered by sargassum. And upon inspection, they took out the bag from the area, and some of it was already destroyed, and discovered that it was marijuana. The total weight of the suspected cannabis was approximately 75 pounds or 32 kilograms, with an estimated value of approximately 200,000 Belize dollars. They were classified as found property since no individuals were present in the vicinity at the time of the discovery. The narcotics were secured at the forward operating base by the patrol, and they were subsequently handed over to the anti-narcotics units of the Belize Police Department. So it was handed over to them for furthering the investigation and for processing. This discovery highlights the continued use of our maritime areas for illicit picking. And the Turniff Atoll remains an area of optional interest due to its geographic characteristics, which can be exploited by traffickers and criminal elements utilizing small vessels to transit through Belize's waters. So the Belize Coast Guard continues to maintain a presence in this area to detect, deter, and disrupt these illegal activities. These findings are always associated with larger shipments that are transiting through the Caribbean basin. We are within a major transshipment route. So sometimes it's fragments, they fall off, they throw it off. So, and again, because of our position and the winds and currents, they usually wash off into the coast. But and again, it sometimes it happens a month ago when it takes long to wash off. So but we cannot say, for example, where it's coming from a country.
And Lieutenant Caye also told us about the Coast Guard's operations over the Easter holiday.
The Belize Coast Guard implemented an enhanced operation during the Easter holidays period, and we recognize a significant increase in maritime activity associated with both the local and international tourism during this time. So we had additional patrols deployed to key areas, in addition to patrols that we have. But these busy hubs like Placencia, Caye Caulker, and Sarteneja, Commandant Coast Guard directed that we position, be proactive and position patrols in those areas so to enable to in order to be able to provide the service to the Belizean people. So these patrols were equipped with, we had divers, we had medics, to ensure that we had that rapid response capability for any maritime incidences, to include search and rescue, vessel emergencies, and other safety-related situations. So this increased presence also focused on maritime law enforcement, boating safety, and also the deterrence of criminal activity across these areas. We are pleased to report that there was no major incidences were recorded in the areas where we enhance our patrols, and it reflects the effectiveness of proactive operational approach, as well as the cooperation of in adhering to maritime safety guidelines.
And now turning our attention to a story about a double murder. Convicted double murderer Brian Castillo has been sentenced to 2 life terms in prison after being found guilty of the 2021 killings of Jennifer Archila and her 12-year-old daughter, Nitzia Katsim. The sentence was handed down today in the Belmopan High Court, and the court ordered that the 2 life sentences take effect from November 24, 2021, the date Castillo was formally remanded. He will be eligible for parole after serving 33 years. And Castillo was convicted for the November 21st, 2021 double murder in San Ignacio town, where it was established that both victims were fatally stabbed inside their home. Evidence presented during the trial revealed that both Archila and her daughter suffered multiple stab wounds, including fatal injuries to the neck. And following the incident, Castillo fled Belize, but was later captured in Guatemala and returned. And now turning our attention to other news. What was once Steak Bank or Port Corral is now being transformed into Olo Caye. According to a press release, it will be a world-class cruise port with a luxury resort. The release continues by saying, quote, Olo Caye is led by Piero Di Battista, whose professional record spans more than 30 years and includes the successful transformation of tourism in Roatan, Honduras. End quote. Our sources say the arrangement was made by the receiver, and the project's first phase will commence in the coming weeks with the construction of the staging site at Mile 5 on the George Price Highway. This will serve as an operation hub and staff housing. They also say construction on the island is slated for completion in early 2028. The key features will include 2 advanced piers for cruise ship and ferry access, retail and dining districts, and accommodation options and amenities to host global events. It's expected to provide 5,500 employment opportunities during the construction phase and 750 permanent positions once fully operational. And from one proposed cruise port to another. As we told you yesterday, the Port of Belize expansion project was granted environmental clearance with conditions. This comes after multiple rejected proposals and public consultations. Well, today, the Chief Environmental Officer told us via Zoom how this proposal differs and what the conditions for approval are. Here's more.
The port was granted approval with conditions to avoid, prevent, and mitigate the adverse environmental impacts related to this project during the construction and operation phases. And it also was approved based on conversations and requests from the NEAC to look at some of the socio-economic issues. So look at issues in relation to traffic management, issues related to employment, grievance mechanisms, and these type of things. As you know, this project has been deliberated by the NEAC, I think, about 3 times before. There was 2 different submissions in the past. I think we met 3 or 4 times to discuss the project. So the NEAC already knows the potential negative and socio-economic impacts of this project. And so the discussion, in a way, was a bit easier. The difference with this version of the EIA is that the project proponents, they knew what were the issues why the project was, not the project, the EIA report was rejected before. So there's a series of issues that were mentioned why the second EIA report was rejected, and the project proponent looked at those issues and they clarified those issues within this 2026 submission. Procedurally, this project was done, was processed according to the process, procedures, and law that we have. On average, whenever there's a public consultation, the NIAC would meet maybe 11 to 12 days thereafter. That's on average. This time frame for the NIAC to meet after the public consultation was 8 days. But the reason why it was 8 days is because we would have met in any case right after the NIAC break, which would have given you 11, 12 days. After the Easter break, which would have given you 11, 12 days or so. We have to think about the workload that the unit has, the different EIAs that are in the pipeline, and they are in various stages. And so the Department of Environment really and truly legally has 60 days after we receive the final EIA to make a decision, to inform the developer of what the decision is. Within that 60 days, we have to send out the public notice for 2 weeks. In this case, I think the public notice was out for 3 weeks. We have to hold a NIAC site inspection and the public consultation, and we need to hold the NIAC meeting. So we need to take that time frame, that 60 days, which is 2 months, into consideration in relation to the fact that the Easter break would have been coming and the amount of work that the unit has in relation to the EIAs within the pipeline.
And the Prime Minister is ready to run with a green light for the DOE and NIAC when asked about the Belize Coalition to Save Our Natural Heritage, which opposes the cruise terminal. The Prime Minister said, "You can't please everyone."
With the NGO community, you could never get their full support, and that's right. We are going to address it, whatever it is that they believe that is being based, but we're going to do the right thing. It is time for us to build a cruise port for Belize and a new container port, and we have to do it, but we have to do it right, protecting the environment as best as we can. There are several groups that are interested in making this investment in Belize. SSA Marine is one of them. They are one of the largest port developers in the world. And what I said, that their parent company is BlackRock. That's all I said. But there are other groups like Global Port Holdings. I think they're out of Turkey. There's a group out of Mexico. There are different groups that want to come. But we could not and would not negotiate with anybody until we get the environmental clearance. Now that we get the environmental clearance, we have Nichols and Moffat, the same group that came up with the master plan. Now we're going to hire them to help us in setting up the terms of reference, so then to be able to negotiate with these different groups and to see who is going to give the best deal for Belize. So that is the process.
And while cruise tourism should have increasing future prospects, overnight tourism had a good month of March. The Minister of Culture said the sites got many visits. Here's more.
In relation to the Port of Belize project that has now received conditional approval by the NIAC, the people, the investors who some would say we're getting in bed with, and then the rep from Mesopotamia said we don't want to end up in a situation where in future it's going to be the investors who end up owning and we get boxed out. What do you have to say in terms of that?
Yeah, no, I would ask you to direct that to the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Economic Transformation. They're involved in that effort. So I don't know enough about the investors, and I think at some point we'll get a proper briefing on that, but not at this point. No.
But you agree we have to be careful as a country with whom we're dealing with?
We always have to, yeah. We always have to be careful. Absolutely. So, I don't think there's any reason at this point to be worried. But as I said, it's better you direct that to finance. So far, fortunately, we have to keep our fingers crossed, but so far we have not seen any direct impact on visitors to Belize, and certainly not to our archaeological reserves. In fact, the numbers have been growing. We had a strong turnout over the Easter, visits to our archaeological reserves. We have 14 of them across the country. So we hope that, again, we hope the war ends quickly. We hope, that the cost of fuel goes down, stabilizes, because that will certainly have a long-term effect on tourism, the cost of travel, and everything else. So we hope so. Yeah.
And we take a break now, but when we come back, the bus operators asked for an increase in fares. The ministry gave them a cold response, which you'll hear after the break. Stay tuned for more news.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Drop it like it's hot.
I'm Randall Friesen and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7. Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
"2026 marks a major milestone in the history of Belize's healthcare sector. The 25th anniversary of the National Health Insurance (NHI) program and the long-awaited national rollout of NHI services to the Cayo district, finally fulfilling a dream of primary healthcare coverage for all Belizeans. What started as an idea in 1998 became a reality in 2001 and has served thousands of Belizeans over the last 2.5 decades by providing access to quality healthcare, now in every corner of Belize.
One of the central pillars of NHI is access to quality healthcare.
All Belizeans will have access to quality hospital services through a national health insurance system.
It's a milestone that the whole country and all of the people of Belize, anyone who has a social security card, it's minimal out-of-pocket expenses, it's high-quality primary care. It allows almost all the population then to have the same level of health care wherever you are.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with stories coming out of the Ministry of Transport. Before the Easter break, you heard from the Belize Bus Association. They said that the rise in fuel costs, that they were barely able to keep staying afloat financially, and they asked the government for one of three things: to absorb the cost of tax of fuel, to provide them with a subsidy, or to allow them to raise fares. The Ministry of Transport responded today, completely taking the third option off the table. As it relates to the other two, they said, quote, "Cabinet respectfully requests that your membership exercise some patience as we await to see how the global world trend in fuel cost will go. It is anticipated that this trend may not continue much longer and will result in the stabilization and reduction in the acquisition of fuel," end quote. They added that Cabinet believes the situation will continue for an extended period of time, and they are prepared to revisit the request for further consideration. Meanwhile, tonight, the National Agriculture and Trade Show Committee has announced the winners of its 2026 Farmer of the Year competition, with all top titles going to farmers from the Cayo district. Taking the Male Farmer of the Year title is Saulo Mesh, while Yo Alma Pocasangre secured Female Farmer of the Year, and the Junior Farmer of the Year award went to Joshua Zib. The National Agriculture and Trade Show 2026 is scheduled for April 30th to May 3rd under the theme Advancing Smart Agriculture, Building a Climate Resilient and Sustainable Belizean Food System. Meanwhile, earlier this week, you saw the president of the PSU defending immigration officers who had been written up and placed on administrative leave for allegedly staging a sick-out. He stressed that they had doctor's letters and were on approved medical leave. The Prime Minister doesn't agree, and he basically said the union president shouldn't uphold the officers in such actions. Here's more.
You know, you question when all of a sudden 8 or 10 officers get sick at the same time. I mean, can't be that all of them get sick all at the same time. There's something must be behind it. And then for them to be able to get some of these doctor papers, I've not seen a paper. And there is the allegation that some may be fraudulent. I do not know. But I believe that as a government, we need to take action to ensure that this kind of behavior is actually illegal, that they just can't walk away and say, oh, I'm sick because I don't like something. they need to be able to sit down with their supervisors and even to the CEO or the minister to be able to say, well, these are the concerns that we have. And it's unfortunate that the public service president, instead of him giving an example or to be able to talk to his members to say, this is not the way to behave, this is not how we address issues, we sit down and talk, then he tends to want to tolerate them. And it's really unfortunate.
Meanwhile, government departments and civil society organizations have engaged in a multi-agency training under the Belize Border Presence Project to strengthen Belize's asylum referral system. The training is being funded by the government of Spain through the Organization of American States, with a focus to establish a clear referral system so individuals in need of protection are directed to the appropriate institutions and support services. Here are the highlights underscoring the value of this training.
We're conducting institutional outreach to various government departments and civil society organizations through a project that we're calling the Belize Border Presence Project. It's a project that is funded by the government of Spain through the OAS, through the Organization of American States. Through this project, we want to establish a referral system, especially with immigration officers and police officers who are more likely to come across asylum seekers in Belize. Asylum seekers are persons who are in need of international protection because they are not safe in their own countries. The Refugees Department is tasked with assisting asylum seekers throughout the refugee status determination process. They submit applications to us and they undergo in-depth interviews that will help us determine whether they meet the criteria for refugee status in Belize. So we were conducting trainings with immigration officers, police officers, healthcare workers, education officers. We also extend the training to persons who are always on the ground, for example, traffic officers. And these are persons who are more likely to come into contact with asylum seekers. And if they are better informed of what to look out for, then they can be directed to us. If they are informed on what to look out for to identify asylum seekers, then they can refer these persons to our department.
Meanwhile, in other news, the members of the Elections and Boundaries Commission were sworn in today in Belmopan. They are UDP appointees Aldo Salazar and Juliet Thimbrel, and PUP appointees Conrad Lewis, Orlando Espat, and returning Chairman Oscar Sabido Puga. And in related news, 16 officers from the Elections and Boundaries Department have completed a specialized training program in partnership with Galen University to advance and enhance their capacity to manage and oversee electoral processes in Belize. They began the program in October of 2024, covering key areas on electoral law, voter registration systems, boundary management, and dispute resolution. A release issued by the government of Belize details that, quote, the program delivered necessary skills and knowledge to uphold the democratic process and maintain public trust, emphasizing instruction in good governance, ethics, and transparency. Officers engaged in scenario-based courses designed to reinforce impartiality, accountability, and adherence to the rule of law in the execution of their duties. Here's more from yesterday's certificate ceremony in detail.
The successful completion of the Elections and Boundaries Certificate Program, which aimed to ensure that officers in the Elections and Boundaries Department are equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge to uphold the democratic process and maintain public trust in the electoral system. These certificates issued today affirm that the successful participants have the attributes, skills, and knowledge and professionalism to manage and oversee the election processes and maintain the integrity of electoral boundaries and effectively serve the public.
I understand the demands of your daily responsibilities, and I commend the effort required to complete this program while continuing your work across the country. Your ability to carry this through reflects the same discipline and focus that define your work within the department. The training addressed the full scope of elections and boundaries operations. Officers worked through electoral law, voter registration systems, boundary management, dispute resolution, and the procedures that govern election day activities. This program now sits with the Ministry of Immigration, Governance, and Labor, and we will carry it forward with full appreciation for the work that has already been completed and the foundation that has been established.
And that's all we have for you on 7 News on this Friday night. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can find the full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a good night and a great weekend, and join us back here on Monday. Have a good night, folks.